Welcome to practice. In today's Flow IQ class, we're going to explore binding. And binding can mean two things. It can mean bringing things together, or it could mean a precarious situation where you're feeling torn. I encourage you as you work through binds to think about it more as a verb, the idea of bringing yourself together rather than being stuck between a rock and a hard place. To begin, you can come to lie on your belly. And then do let your eyes close. And breathe into your front body, which is against the floor. Look for expansion of the belly and the chest. So almost like when you inhale, the belly chest grows down into the earth. And when you exhale, it draws away from the mat or away from the ground. And so you have this kind of cool heart-to-heart connection with the ground beneath you. And allowing yourself to surrender into its support. And feel the breath moving into your sides. Feeling moving into your back. And visualize that breath can create space between the individual bones of the spine. So just by breathing deeply, you can decompress the spine. Begin to invite Ujjayi pranayama if you practice the victorious breath. Layer it in here. And staying with that breath you've cultivated, walk your hands back more to a cobra-like position so that your thumbs are framing your breastbone. And push forward and away through the ground as you glide hips up and back into child's pose. And again, forehead releasing, only directly into the mat now. So releasing the boundary from the front body. Now the belly and chest are free to swell. Free to fill and free to empty. And from child's pose, come up to hands and knees. Guide your way up. And then track the arms to the right. Bring your spine with you so you're in just a little side bend. And cow-cat over here. So the inhale to drop belly and reach chin up. And the exhale to tuck both chin and belly, releasing crown of the head down. And as you're moving and breathing, you're breathing into the side body evenly. Only one side is shortened. while the other side has some length to it. As you next exhale, round a lot, stay there. See if you can push the left side of your rib cage over to the left, so you're creating more of a dramatic side bend. And when you do that, can you feel the muscles along the right side of your abdomen strengthening as the muscles along the left side of the abdomen are lengthening? And then relax the spine and bring your way to the middle. Then side bend off to the left. Same thing, cow-cat, move with your breath. Right side body long, left side body short. And as you next exhale, do the rounding. Push the right side of the rib cage off to the right. So the left side gets shorter. And can you feel the side abdominals? So those are the obliques on the left side working, while there's some length on right side. And then relax all of that and come back to the center. From here in table, step right foot outside of right hand. And then keeping either the palms flat or coming onto fingertips, move the pelvis in a deep circle. And you can start clockwise or counter, it doesn't matter because we'll go both ways. And can you connect into the sensation of like hip in socket and some movement in there? And bring it back the other way. And you can even start to straighten your right leg a little as you make those circles a bit broader. And bring it back forward and right knee under right hip. Switch your legs, left foot outside of left hand. Choose a direction, start small so you grease the wheels in there. And then take it the other way, maybe inviting broader strokes, a bigger circle. Shifting back to wrists under shoulders, left knee under left hip. And walk your hands forward. And tuck your toes under and shift your hips up and back. First down dog, keep your knees bent for this one. Anchor the outer upper arms down. Draw the rib tips, the front ones, in and stretch the hips back. So there's length through the spinal column. And then you can begin to straighten legs, but if that compromises that spine length, then keep your knees bent. And start to move with your breath. Inhale, come forward to plank. So finding that support in the shoulder girdle. Exhale, pulling back to your down dog. Keep your legs really strong as you transition. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, downward facing. One more time, breathe in, ripple forward. And breathe out, hips back. Deep breath in. When you exhale, bend your knees and look forward. Inhale, pull, right foot, then left foot forward. Keep inhaling, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Bend knees once again, belly and thighs together, close or bound. Reach around the back of your legs. Can you hold opposite elbows behind your knee pits and let the head fall? Take a few breaths here, making yourself small and seed-like. So this idea of adhering to yourself. And anytime we wrap our arms around ourselves, this is considered binding. Whether we're holding wrists or interlaced hands or grasping elbows, this gathering of ourselves together. Now take hands to hips, push feet, inhale, come all the way up to standing. Release the arms, close your eyes. Find steady mountain pose. Lean a little forward, lean a little back, lean side to side. So you're kind of dowsing, like a dowsing rod finds water. You're dowsing for your center line. When you find it, elongate along it and join your hands together. And we'll chant before we move into practice, into this reflection on binding, collecting, bringing ourselves together. As my mother would say, pull yourself together, Noelle. Pull yourself together. We'll chant the sound of the Om one time. Exhale fully. And take a breath all the way in. Releasing the arms. Allow your eyes to open so you're receiving light through them. Soft gaze. Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, reach the arms, lift the eyes, maybe the palms touch. Exhale, fold out and down. Inhale, lengthen, crown reaching. Exhale, plank. Pause when you get into it. Draw your arm bones in, take a breath in, chest forward. Exhale the knees, come all the way to the ground for the first one. Point toes, press legs. Inhale, cobra, pulling forward and up. Exhale, tuck toes, hips back to heels, and then raise the hips up into downward dog. And take 4 breaths here. And just a little food for thought. When you're in down dog, reach the arms like you're reaching them out of sockets. Reach the legs like you're reaching out of sockets. So that feeling of expansion. And then can you do the opposite? Can you like draw your arm bones in and suction your legs deeper inside of the hips? So that contraction pattern. So that pulling of yourself together. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, knees bend, eyes look. Inhale, step or lightly jump. Keep inhaling, lift halfway. And exhale, bow into yourself. Inhale, reach all the way up, touch the palms. Exhaling, release the arms back to Tadasana. Again, inhale, reach up, lift the eyes. Exhale, out and down, folding. Inhale, traction spine, half lift. Exhale, step back, then keep exhaling, lower down. Maybe it's chaturanga now or coming all the way to the floor. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, fold back, downward facing dog. And you can play with the patterning. It's kind of like neural. It's a brain to muscle pattern. Extending out wildly or drawing in and collecting. For today's purposes, this idea of drawing in is helpful. Take a deep breath all the way. Exhaling, crouch, look. Inhale, bring your feet there. Lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way to the top. Exhale, return to neutral standing. And then open wide stance for triangle pose. So take up the length of your mat. I'm going to use a block in my triangle for my bottom hand, but you don't have to. You're welcome to use your shin or the ground. Arms reach horizontal and level. Right toes turn to point out, so that external rotation of your right hip, right thigh. Back foot comes internal, so you pivot back hip, back foot in slightly. Inhale, extend away from the back leg. Exhale, set your bottom hand to something. Upper arm to the sky. So think of drawing from the feet all the way up into the hips, strength and support. And then change the position of the upward reaching arm, go overhead so it becomes kind of bicep by ear, like a hybrid of triangle and extended side angle. And when you reach overhead, did you roll your chest towards the floor? Do the opposite, try to spin open. And then look down with your eyes, bend your right knee, and pivot. So back heel is lifted, right foot is grounded. Lower the back knee to the floor. Bring both hands to right thigh. Come out of the depth of crescent and go into something that feels a little less of a back bend, so much more vertical spine and tailbone. Reach the arms by your sides, thumbs pointing forward. And work extending your arms up without moving into a back bend, so just reaching the arms up, shoulder flexion, and then reaching the arms back behind you into shoulder extension. So just this forward and up, and then along the sides and back. Let's start to add some rotation to this. So go forward and up with your arms. And if you take Mobility IQ, you know this move. Thumbs spin in towards the crown of your head. Arms reach up and back as your shoulders continue to roll forward until your arms are behind you, almost parallel to the floor. Then slowly bring them along the side. At this point, your thumbs are pointing in towards your hips. Reverse, reach back until they feel like they stop. Then start to spin the thumbs out like a hitchhiker. Sweep the arms out to the sides of the room, up by the ears, and bring the arms forward and back down. Right hand to the right thigh, deepen the lunge, even edge your back knee back a little bit. So do come into the back bend of it and reach up, crescent. Side body long, right foot stamping into the floor. Release, touchdown. And heel toe your right foot a little out to the right. Bring your right arm inside of your right leg. Walk your arms forward, bring it towards lizard, so the hips, they'll drop. And you could stay arms reaching forward, wrists underneath your body, or you can bring it down to the forearms. And by forearms, F-O-R-E, not F-O-U-R. We don't have forearms, although that'd be super cool. As an added way to explore the load or how we bear weight in this pose, you can lift the back knee and release that point of support, and it'll change things significantly. And take one more breath. Then lower the back knee down if you raised it. Come back to wrists under shoulders. Take the right arm outside of the right leg, heel toe in so it's more centered. Lift your back knee. Pivot to wide stance, centered, long along your yoga mat. Hands to the hips. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale here. Breathe in, reach the arms out to the sides. When you exhale, interlace, so you're binding right here, interlacing your hands or grabbing your towel. Inhale, chest and eyes lift. And exhale, fold forward. Take the arms for that ride overhead. So note the position of your shoulders is they're rounded forward. And that helps to take the upper arm bones, lower arm bones, wrists, hands, and fingers in that overhead pattern. If you squeeze your shoulder blades together, you can feel your hands. They move back. They don't go overhead. So keep your shoulders rounded forward. Internal rotation. While you're folded, exhale completely. And then inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Release the clasp, the binds. Other side triangle. So if you're using your block, have it in your left hand, leveling the arms. Left toes turn out, so external, whole thigh bone rolls out. Right foot turns in. We want a little internal in the back leg. Inhale, cast out. And exhale, climb inside. Leg bones are sucking up deeper into their sockets. Then go top arm over. Notice that tendency to roll closed, so resist, spin open instead. And then do roll, rib cage forward, bend front knee, touch ground. Right heel lifts, right knee comes down. Both hands left thigh. Come out of the depth of crescent into more vertical with that right thigh, left shin and spine. Arms by the sides of you. Thumbs pointing forward. Up until you can't go anymore. And back until you can't go anymore. So look for your unique wall. How far up do I reach before my rib cage wants to start to go into cow? So you're keeping your front ribs in. And then how far back do I reach before my chest starts to collapse? So you're keeping your chest vertical. Let's take it to full rotation. So arms go up, thumbs spin in towards the crown of your head. Reach up and back without collapsing in your chest. So you're really rotating your shoulders forward until your arm bones are almost parallel to the ground back there. And then bring them along the side, thumbs pointing in. Reverse, so you're going to hit your wall, whatever that may be. Slowly rotate the thumbs out, the wrist up. In an arc pattern, out and up, biceps close to the ear. And bring the arms slowly forward and down. Bring both hands left thigh, drop into the depth of lunge, perhaps edge your right knee back, and reach up, side body, long left foot stamping down. Releasing, touch ground. Heel toe left foot out a little bit. Bring the left arm inside. Come into lizard, start with hands grounded. You can stay or walk forward a bit so you get a little more sunken. You could stay there or forearms to the floor. And you could stay there or release the contact of support, right knee comes up. Softening right knee back to ground, coming back to straight arms, wrists underneath the shoulders. Left arm outside of the left leg, heel toe it back to the middle. Raise your right knee, pivot back to forward facing. And then you can stay folded, take your arms in front of you, hang your hips back. So it's like you're in the widest legged downward dog. And find the arm bones drawing into sockets, the leg bones pulling up into sockets. And from here, travel arc pattern to the right. Over, over, over. So I'm going to let you decide how far over you go. It might be just reached out a little on a diagonal. You might be walking like all the way towards that right foot. Big side body opener. And then take the arc back to where we began, so centered, and then arc to the left. So maybe it's just a hand printer couple, or maybe you just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking. Right side body long. And finding your way slowly back, centered. Hands walk in under the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Bring your hands together in prayer at the chest. Turn your heels in and your feet out. And then start going side to side. So you're keeping the spine upright, more vertical as you do this work. And then begin to hinge forward so it's like your butt sticks back a little bit and the side to side, perhaps getting a little lower. Now, hands to the floor and really let your hands guide you as you drop low through the pelvis. So it's like half squatting on one side while the other leg is long. And you could potentially start to turn the opposite toes up. So as you squat into one leg, The opposite toes pivot up. So you're on the back of that heel. And I always get the question, what happens if on my squatting leg my heel's raised? It's fine. It's just means the length of your Achilles tendon might be different than somebody else's. Find your way all the way back to the center, and then hands to prayer. Start to lift. Keep raising your pelvis until you're eventually back in the vertical. Find center and release the arms. Step all the way forward to the front of your yoga mat. Come to squatting. So step the feet as wide as the outer shoulders and bring yourself down into squat. Now, I encourage you, if squatting is like where you feel like you are in a very precarious situation, like you might fall back and lose it, or you have to hang out too far forward, put a block underneath your sit bones so that you can really find that feeling of verticality through your spine. And take right hand to the floor. So keep your right arm hooked inside of your right leg. Right hand goes to the floor. Turn and reach the left arm up. And then can you switch that effort so you're hooking left arm inside the left leg, that hand or fingertips ground, and reach the right arm up. Coming back, hands together in prayer. Let's complicate this, shall we? Can you go from squatting to standing? And then from standing to squatting. So that up, down. Let's complicate it a little bit more. Can you go from squatting to standing, but bring your left knee up? Put the left foot down, go back to squatting. Come up to standing, bring your right knee up towards your chest. Let's do that a few times side to side. So you put the weight into the standing leg and raise the opposite knee. And my apologies ahead of time. Tomorrow you may feel this, but Friday probably more. One more time each way. Come back down into the squat. Hunker down there. Let's try to bind it. Take your right arm out to the side with your thumb pointing down. Roll your shoulder head forward. It's that pattern we worked on in the controlled articular rotations. Bend your right elbow, lay your hand against your outer hip. If you know you're using strap or towel, grab it. Left arm behind, internally rotate your shoulder, reach back. Can you latch against towel or latch the hands here and bind the squat? Chest turning to the left. Release, unwind, stay low. Let's try this other arm. Left arm to the side. Turn the thumb to face back so the shoulders rolled forward. Can you bind around that little knee like it's a snow-capped mountain? Right arm behind you. Grab your towel to connect or connect the hands. Chest spinning to the right. Release, unwind, touch ground, hips up. If that block is there, bring it off to the side. Make your way back to downward facing dog. So skip vinyasa, even though you might be tempted to open the front body. Let's keep that closed, connected front body. Lower the knees, stretch back, child's pose. Take a couple breaths here. Then from your child's pose, find your way up to hands and knees. Then tuck your toes, hips back, and walk your feet forward halfway on your yoga mat. So you're centered. Bend your knees like you're in a football huddle, so it's the half squat position. And reach your arms through your legs, looking back. Now you could stay here and work here, or you take your right shoulder, kind of work it, push your ankle forward, work your right shoulder a little back, more between the inner knee, and wrap the right arm around the outer right hip. Left arm goes behind. Maybe you hold hands with yourself, or you're playing with the towel or the strap as your binding help. You could stay here, or heel toe your left foot underneath your left hip. Stand up on your left leg. Bring your right knee with you. Shoulders both pull back so the chest is vertical. Perhaps you extend your right leg. Bird of paradise. And then trying the second side. So rather than thinking of this as like, oh God, this pose, this is noun bind. Like, this is a horrible position to be in. Think of it as, I'm going to draw into myself. Right? I'm going to pull into the deep strength that's right inside there, that's totally accessible for me. Bend the knees, and it's accessible right here. Bend the knees, reach your arms through. There it is. That could be your bird of paradise today. Or take hold of left ankle, work the shoulder back. That could be it. Or roll the left shoulder head forward, wrap around the outer leg with the left hand. Maybe that's it, half bound. Or right hand behind. Hold hands with yourself. Maybe that's it. Or heel toe right foot under hip. Lift your left heel, and then stand up on your right leg. Bring your left leg with you. Maybe that's it. Or shoulders back, chest vertical, extend the left leg. Breathe. As slow as you went in, gradually make your way out. So hip hinge, land the left foot, unwind. Touch ground, downward dog. Forward to plank. As you exhale, bring the knees down, come to lie prone on the belly. Elbows wide, back to the position we started with, forehead resting on the back of the hands. Breathe into the front of your body. Breathe into the front of the body so that the back body receives the breath as well. Notice as you're lying here, the legs, they get a little light. It's almost like they get forgotten. So raise your head, bring your hands along your breastbone, and root the legs. So can you click the 10 toenails into the mat? And when you root the legs, what happens when you strengthen them is that your quads engage, your knees might even lift. Right? So shins might be up, knees might be up, but you have pelvis down, tops of feet down. Take a couple cobras. Inhale, traction forward and up. Exhale, release forward and down. Do that a couple more times. Breathe in, ride the wave, curling up. Breathe out, ride the wave, down. One last time, inhale. And exhale. Tuck toes, press up, table, seat towards your heels. And then raise the hips up, back, downward dog. And bring the right leg up, back behind you, slow floats. Exhale, right shin underneath you, pigeon prep. Back leg moves back. Untuck your toes. So instead of walking and bringing it forward, can you find the strength of your hips squeezing in like your leg bones are being sucked into their sockets? Bring your hands together in prayer. And then control moving forward and down. Forward and down, lengthening out as you, like on hydraulics, get lower and lower and lower. Eventually extending arms and softly releasing the forehead. And from that drawing into your body feeling, switch into that extending out, like you just became like an ice cube that's melting in all directions. So this watery quality to resting pigeon. And then walking hands and arms back in. Take the leg that's behind, that's your left one. Bring it around until the sole of the foot is planted just outside of the right knee. And I'm going to turn my body. I'm just going to orient differently so you can see this better. So reach across, right elbow outside of the left knee. Left hand is behind you. So this is one way you can twist, right? Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. You could also really roll your right shoulder forward, and can you hook your right hand under your left foot? So you have this big internal rotation of your right shoulder. And the left arm goes behind you. It doesn't bind to anything, it just rests as you twist. So you basically are like pulling yourself together in this rotation. And use inhale, eyes look forward. And exhale, unwind. Take the leg that's in front, sweep it back behind you, back to that pigeon pose, hands to the ground. Step back, downward dog. Left leg, pigeon prep, lift up first. Exhale, shin underneath, second. Edge your right leg back, third. Instead of falling into it, can you find the strength? So front shin down, left hip sucks into socket, right knee presses down, right hip pulls into socket. You find some buoyancy, hands to prayer. And then a gradual control of the down. Eventually getting close to the floor, walk your arms forward and use the support of arms reaching to gently lay the head down. And from that, everything drawing in, let everything expand away. And walking hands back to lift. Take the right leg all the way around till the foot is landed just outside of the left thigh, left knee. Left elbow hooks across, right hand to the floor. You can start with that. And this could be your Matsyasana twist. Or you really roll that left shoulder forward. Grab the edge of your foot. So you secure the arm into the leg with that internal rotation. Right arm goes behind you. And use your inhale to look forward and your exhale to unwind or unbind if you were bound in that one. Uncross the legs, shake them out a little. See that you have enough room to bend your knees, heels close to your sit bones, arms in front, palms down. Articulate your spine down. So see if you can do it without a crash landing. So stay rounded as you lower the back side of the pelvis to the mat. Then the lower spine, mid-spine, shoulder blades, head. Release your arms so the backs of the shoulders rest. Bend your knees, feet parallel at hips distance, setting up for Setu Bandhasana or bridge pose. That same idea of tailbone long or buttocks long that we had in Virasana and Hero's pose, do that here. So it might feel like you're scooping pubic bone towards the rib cage. Then push the feet into the ground like you're pushing the ground out of the way, and the pelvis springs up. We did a lot of interlacing of the hands behind us, so walk your shoulder blades, collect them in, and maybe you make that clasp. So there's a bind in there. There's an underneath you bind happening in bridge pose. Hips up, sternum up, back of the head presses gently into the mat. Use in-breath, heels lift, arms reach over. Pull the ribs down, articulate from the top of the spine to the bottom of the spine. Each of the bones landing individually. Eventually backside of the pelvis down and arms release down. And bring the legs into you, so one thigh at a time. And then straighten the legs a little bit. And remember that shape where we held opposite elbows? Can you come up, hold opposite elbows, and draw yourself into yourself? You may do this with bent knees. You might have straighter legs. Belly close to thighs. So it's like upside down, seated forward fold, or upside down, standing forward bend. Bend the knees quite a bit. Release the bind, the hold of your own elbows. Head, neck, shoulder blades on the floor. Feet to the ground. Heel toe them out. Cactus with the arms. On your own breath, windshield wiper. So it's nice to exhale the legs to the side. To inhale to gather them back to the middle. Exhale, let them go the other way. And as you next bring your legs off to the right in that windshield wiper, turn it into sleeper pose. So the right foot lifts, hook the outer right ankle against the outer left knee crease. So lower body is Twisting right, turn upper body left. Bringing head to center. Unhook that right leg, set the foot wide, both knees left. Pick up left ankle, put it outside a right knee crease. Head to the right, hips to the left. Unhooking left ankle, set the left foot wide, come back to center. Heel toe the feet close, bring your right knee in for a hug. Slide your left leg long along your yoga mat. Take a couple rotations of right ankle. Make them really big. So think of moving in what is your greatest range of motion for your ankle circles? And then bring it back the other way. Relaxing foot ankle interlace behind thigh. Send the leg up. When you do it, thigh bone pushes forward into your hands, so your arms may actually be straight when you do this. Think of dragging your right hip crease towards the front edge of your yoga mat, or I guess the bottom edge of your yoga mat, towards your left heel. And bring the right knee in, fold it in. Release your right leg long. Switching into left side, bring the left knee in. Give it an embrace. And while you're embracing, greatest range of motion, circling the left ankle. And then moving the opposite direction. Relaxing that effort, interlace behind. When you straighten your leg, thigh bone pushes forward, so the arms may even straighten. Drag the left hip crease towards your right heel or the inner right heel. And release that. Bring the knee in and set the leg long. Keep your legs in a relaxed and effortless position. Take your arms to cactus. Press the back of the hands, back of the forearms into the floor. Really exaggerating that external rotation. Broadening through the collarbones. Then extend the arms all the way overhead. If you can, slide them against the floor. That's so nice. And then like snow angel upper body, reach the arms out to the sides, perhaps dragging the back of your hands along your floor. Keep lowering the arms until they're in a resting position along the sides of your body. Palms facing up. Coming into the final posture, the integration pose, Shavasana. If you need any additional support or you want to swing your legs up a wall, feel free to take your time to get into what's going to be the most restful for you. And we've been working on drawing in and drawing in and drawing in today. And here, let go and let go and let go. So the quality of the energy is that expansion or dissolving or release. Horizon line of the eyes closes. And breath becomes spontaneous and easy. Begin to invite your awareness back from wherever it drifted to, back to body and breath. Turn the head softly right and left, back and forth a few times. And take right arm, slide it up overhead. Bend each knee, roll on to your side. And press down into the floor and find your way up to a meditation seat. Gather now hands together in a gesture of offering. And from the seat, we offer the sound of the beginning, the sound of Om. Exhale fully. And take breath all the way in. And may the merits of this practice that we've done here today benefit all beings everywhere. Namaste.